Ooh-wee. The left ain't gonna like this. Check it out.
Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. And so this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him.
What y'all gonna do now? Y'all gonna disrespect her? Call her. See, real people know the difference between something that's performative and something that's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
That was genuine. Grandma didn't need no teleprompter. She didn't need no script. She spoke from her heart. She spoke from her soul. Something that we don't see a lot of, even from our elders. A lot of y'all on the left are weak. Weak. You're okay with the things that's going on in this country. You're okay with the things that are happening to our children. You're okay with jobs being lost. You're okay with the way that things are. We need more women like her and less women like Maxine Waters. Because this is a woman who sees what's happening, who has lived through what's happening. And she knows that she's doing the right thing by supporting this man. It don't even matter how long it took her to notice. She did it.
Amen to that. I know that's right. That don't even matter. That's the last thing that we caring about right now. This week's theme has been fractures, the little cracks in the wall the Democrats think we don't see. And last night we actually reacted to that grandma clip where you obviously see she didn't whisper or hesitate to let y'all know to back up off of Trump. Let the man do his job. You know, and we know why it hit, not because she was yelling, not because the left is going to say she was being dramatic, of course, but it's because she sounded like somebody's actual grandma at Thanksgiving who's tired of the group chat. Like for real. When she spoke, I felt convicted and empowered at the same time. She wasn't quoting policy. She wasn't quoting, she wasn't citing like studies. She wasn't saying anything other than let the man do his job. And here's the fracture. You see the left, they keep telling black voters what we're supposed to feel. Grandma said, nah, I'm going to go ahead and decide that for myself. And that's very dangerous to the Democrats' narrative when the base starts thinking independently. Of course, that's when cracks happen. But it gets messier because when now we got to move from the vibes into unfortunate tragedy.
And this is the shit that's pissing me off, so I'm gonna fucking try it again. When I posted Renee Good and Alex Preddy, I went viral like that. But when I post about Keith Porter Jr. and now Linda Davis, nothing. Why? Why is it that when there are ICE-related deaths that are black, no one gives a fuck? No one stays long enough to fucking give an engagement so people can know what is happening to my people. Now I'm getting fucking pissed.
Now, let's be completely honest. I've seen a lot of this guy's, well, not a lot, but I've come across this material before, and this dude is definitely far left. Like, I shouldn't exist left, you know? So don't get it twisted. He's not here defending Trump or defending enforcement. He's not pivoting conservative. He's attacking the system. But here's that fracture. Even the left is asking, why is this energy selective? So that lets you know that's not a Republican question. That's not a MAGA talking point. That's somebody on your side saying something feels off. And when people inside of your party, inside the house, start questioning the wiring, that's when it gets pretty interesting. Because now the outrage isn't left versus right. It's consistency versus convenience. And when outrage feels convenient, people smell it. That's the crack. And cracks don't start loud. They start small. And then one day they just, the wall just looks completely different. Now I want you to watch how fast blame actually shifts after that.
Did. And the reason why she has not gone viral like Renee Good and Alex Petty is because she obviously do not fit the narrative of the left. Let's be honest. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, Linda Davis is an educator that lives in Savannah or lived in Savannah, Georgia. She was on her way to work when Oscar Vasquez was pulled over by ICE. They were talking to him. Things obviously did not go his way. At this point, he felt as though he needed to flee. When he fled from them, he made an illegal U-turn, wound up crashing into her, which wound up ending up in her no longer being here. Okay, let me just say this. Y'all can hate Trump all y'all want to, which is really what this is all about. But the reality of this is all of this is Biden's mess. Okay, Biden allowed these people to come into this country, and now this is the bullcrap that we have to deal with. That woman would still be here if that man was not here. That woman would still be here if he just abided by the law and did what they wanted him to do. Let's be clear. He did not have a license, so he was not even supposed to be driving. In addition to that, he was an illegal immigrant and did not even belong in this country. But y'all can say what y'all want, but let's be honest. That woman would still be here if it was not for him. Rest in peace, Linda Davis. My condolences go out to her family. This is a mess at this point.
Y'all see the escalation. ICE didn't kill her. If we're looking at it from the lens of what the last administration allowed, one might say Democrats did. Open borders definitely did. That's the shift. When tragedy happens, both sides they want ownership of the blame, right? Yeah. One side says ICE, the other side says policy. But regular people, they're looking at the chaos and saying, why does everything feel so unstable? And I know why. But when voters start associating instability with Democrat leadership, that's not a tweet problem, man. That's a ballot issue. But now we bring in the politician energy.
I just watch for weeks now of the media in Minnesota, all over GoFundMe accounts talking about that story. Now we have an American citizen who's a special ed teacher, didn't deserve this, and there's virtually no coverage, no funding for this family to pick up the pieces at all.
It is truly a tragedy here, and it shows you just how out of touch, how tone deaf the Democrats are, and John Ossoff is. Well, I haven't heard anything from him about this. This is a tragedy. We experienced this with Laken Riley. Now we're experiencing this again with Linda Davis. This should have never happened, and it would not have happened if the Democrats and the far left, like John Ossoff, had not demonized ICE and encouraged people not to comply with them and not to conform to them and not to cooperate with them. That's what we need. ICE agents are doing their job. They're trying to protect Americans. They're trying to protect Georgians. Yet John Ossoff and the Democrats, they want to protect illegal immigrants. There's a big problem there.
Huge problem.
She'd still be alive. That's not subtle. That's surgical. And it sticks because it's simple. You don't have to agree with every word, but you understand the point. When you normalize non-compliance, when you treat federal law like a suggestion, eventually something breaks. This is what Tom Homan has been warning about. And the left, they keep trying to pivot to, well, what about the chase? Cool. What about the reason, he was here, though? What about the removal order? What about enforcement being sabotaged politically for years? You don't get to preach compassion and ignore consequences. It's not leadership. That's all vibe talk. Now, y'all, let's talk about standards.
It's the theater of it. Because
what's her name? Christy Nome standing in front of all these guys in a prison.
She makes me fucking sick. When I saw the image of her on the rooftop in Chicago, a literal overseer staring down at the people she was brutalizing, then I'm going through the airports and I'm forced to see her fucking Botox face everywhere in every airport in America. Like, that shit was sickening to me.
Yeah.
It's the theater of it.
Okay, so this is pretty funny because the same people who wrote essays about tone and respecting women, suddenly it's Botox face. I'm not saying we dish it, we could take it, but I just want to point that out. So now appearance jokes are cool again. Got it. I'm just saying. Selective morality. And here's why the narrative is wobbling. You can't build your whole identity on moral superiority and then drop it when the target changes. They see it. Here's the part that really shakes the racist script, y'all. Peep this.
The media will never show you stories like this about Trump.
I went to prison in 1996. They sentenced me to life plus 25 years. I didn't need a life sentence as a first-time nonviolent offender to learn a lesson.
Not only did he pardon her, he gave her a job as pardon czar.
We're giving Alice a full pardon. You can do whatever you want in life and just keep doing the great job you're doing. You know, Alice was in prison for doing something that today probably wouldn't even be prosecuted. You've been an inspiration to people, and we're going to be listening to your recommendation on pardons. She's going to be my pardon czar, okay? And you're going to find people just like you that should not have happened.
Life plus 25.
The media.
Wow. Nonviolent. Commuted. Pardon. And now advising on clemency. Man, you can argue policy, you can argue style, you can argue personality, but that story, it doesn't fit the cartoon villain narrative. You know what I'm saying? And the more stories like this that circulate, the weaker that label gets. Because at some point, people start asking, if he's so irredeemable, why do these receipts exist? And so many of them. That question is going to linger. Try me on that one. Why'd you give it a couple years? You know what I mean? Because lingering questions are very dangerous. Now let's go and add some culture to this.
You talk about a piece of work, but he could fight, couldn't he? Huh? Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning, good times and bad. But Mike Tyson's a great guy, and he was so loyal, always been loyal. And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda. Is he Bahamas? Whatever. It's nice. A nice place. You'd like that, Bruce, wouldn't you? Bruce wants it. And a guy that became really, he liked Trump, Jim Brown. He was tough. He'd come in, he was very silent. He was silent but deadly. He'd come in and he'd look at people, and if he didn't like them, he'd just look at me and he'd go, no good. He wanted to rip their heart out. I would say there can't be a greater football player than Jim Brown. By the way, Lawrence Taylor, great friend. The great Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player probably in the history of football. He's a great friend of mine. And but I'm longer off the tee than him. You know why? Because I take the club back further. He takes the club back this far, and he hits it 200 yards. When you can do that, you're strong. He is a great guy, I'll tell you that. And all of the
Mike Tyson, Lawrence Taylor. These aren't random props, y'all. These are decade-long relationships. The racist label used to shut conversations down instantly. Now, people They squinting at it. Not because they love Trump, but because the accusation feels overused. And when you overuse any weapon of any kind, of any sort, like, it just dulls. It always does. Then you lose shock value. You know how they go. And when you lose shock and it fades, so does fear. Now here comes the cultural crossover.
Y'all, President Donald Trump is the most sweetest and most adorable president. Did y'all see where they had that Black History Month program in the White House and he got off script so he could tell Nicki Minaj just how beautiful she was and how much he adored her skin. President Trump even admired her long, beautiful nails. Now, y'all go share this. Y'all want to share everything negative? Y'all always want to talk about how racist President Donald Trump is. President Donald Trump has did so much for the people as a whole. And again, he can't please everybody. So y'all, I heard Nicki Minaj say that she was President Donald Trump #1 fan. And I got a little jealous because I think I'm President Donald Trump #1 fan. I don't care who doesn't like it. I don't care who's mad. President Donald Trump, they can never make me hate you. Y'all come to the comments and let me know, have y'all saw the video where he was admiring Nicki Minaj's beauty? And when y'all come to the comments, make sure y'all tread lightly when it comes to my president. And if somebody gets too mad and want to delete me, don't even come to the comments and tell me. Just poof, be gone, be blessed.
My fault. I had myself muted, y'all. My fault. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about just watching the shift, right? Grandma saying it out loud. You got the far left creators calling out the selective outrage, rather, and the policy debate sitting different. The racist label losing shock value, and cultural figures stepping in the mix. The ground is moving. And the people who thought they owned the narrative, they're realizing that it's not glued down for them at all. So if you made it to the end of this video, should write one word for me. Make that word shift. Yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, write shift. That way I know you made it to the end. I didn't put an algorithm for your boy. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You could quite literally be saving their life. Peace.